Yeah, so that's the thing with the new iPhone, Tony. It's got a USB-C cable now, and that
And
makes
yeah,
it
and Apple does this all
revolutionary.
by themselves.
What? They met
No,
up.
no one forced them to.
They met up with Mother Nature herself, and they fixed.
Okay.
They solved it. I'm fairly sure. You know what Apple's going to do next? The next Apple tech event, they're going to meet with the
Yeah.
CEO of racism, and then like we solved it.
Oh, they can shake hands.
Shake hands with the CEO of racism and go. You know what?
Yeah.
We're ending it.
Can you imagine, like, oh, Apple acquires the racism limited company and it's going to end it?
There it is. We're systematically dissolving racism.
Yeah, yeah.
Apple, we did it again.
Uh, I kind of
You know who?
nice
You
that
know who else
we're
did it again? Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2. You're
It's
playing
my
Half-Life 2 again.
it's my yearly replay of Half-Life 2. I say, haven't I played
Yeah,
Half-Life 2 twice this year?
yeah. Well, I remember one time. I don't remember the two others.
I'm trying to remember. What did I? When was the last time? I'm always playing. The problem is, Tony, I'm always playing Half-Life 2. Oh, I played
Yeah.
Lego. I played Lego Half-Life 2, didn't I?
Oh, you play it all the way through. That's Lego.
Lepin. No, I played it
Nothing.
briefly. I played it
I was
briefly.
gonna say I think I'm counting that.
Okay.
Can make all the difference
In the world.
So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and
You know,
So yeah, I guess
I've already
this is
seen the
VR
G-Man in
episode.
VR, and he doesn't hit the same, the old version of G-Man, but we can fix that
Right.
in the later footage. But this is Half-Life
Okay.
2 VR. This came out right at the end of last year, and this year we have come out with Episode 1 and Episode 2 VR versions. This is great. I've played the entire of Half-Life 2 in VR now. There was the initial version when the Vive came out, but it was very much,
Yes.
just you can wear a headset and then you still control it with like a mouse and keyboard or a controller or whatever. This is
Yeah.
full hand-tracked, physics-based, smooth locomotion / teleportation. I tried teleportation and I did not like it at all. You can see me using vignette mode here to help me not be sick as I'd not played VR in a while.
Right.
And this was
So,
I think this was the turning point where I was like, I'm going to get back into VR because I love VR. And this was the point
yeah.
where I was like, F the Vive ones. I cannot stand
Yeah.
the Vive ones anymore, bro. I need to get. So many games these days are just designed for joystick controller movement for smooth locomotion. And it
Yep.
feels so awful to use those bloody Vive ones. They have not changed. Even in like the Vive Pro or whatever, they still use those bloody touchpad things that suck. Yeah, I'm waving to civil protection, my good friend.
He seems to be getting attacked by someone.
No. Yeah, but here it is, my yearly repair of Half-Life 2. I'm running away in real time. I'm doing the LA Noir run, where you do your locomotion
Yeah.
by doing running
I love
moves.
that mode.
Dude, they're doing MetaConnect soon, right? To announce the new
Yeah.
Quest 3 headset. I don't know if you even remember this. They announced they were going to make GTA San Andreas VR at like a couple of years ago at one of those.
No, I do not remember this.
They announced they were developing GTA San Andreas VR for the Quest, and then they've said nothing about it after the definitive edition came out. And I'm just like,
Right.
have they just like silently cancelled that now?
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
gonna make a bold. You know what, Tony? I'll say it. MetaConnect in a couple of weeks. GTA San Andreas VR. It's gonna be
It's
releasing.
gonna. Is it good? Yeah. Is it gonna be like the?
Well, in true like Half-Life VR fashion, playing Half-Life Alyx, I can't launch out that game without throwing 1,000 bottles onto the floor to play around with the physics. Here I am at the start of the game, throwing objects at civil protection and running away.
I guess it's just like it just kind of proves by like how you're playing.
I'm trying to flip him off, but I don't have hand tracking.
Okay, another problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the fact that you're messing around with just like if it was real life, it's just like really normal. Like why the hell are you just messing around with a bottle? It's just so normal. But the fact that you're immersed in this world is like I've never been able to do this so immersively before. It's like it just looks so cool. I still have
You
not
have like
played,
a slight
a
gravity
VR game.
glove grip to you when you pick up objects, which is very much appreciated. Sort of similar to like the gloves in Alex. They've taken a
Right.
lot of like the good design choices of like you know, the newer VR games where it's like, and then put them onto these older games. It just feels so good to play. We'll talk about like the opposite direction with another game I played that is very much like an older VR game, but it's
Yeah.
like still a worthwhile experience.
There were-
Hey, I didn't see
yeah.
you get on the train. Don't drink the water. They put something in the water. Sometimes I dream of cheese. There's so much just random civilian dialogue from the beginning of City 17 just imprinted into my brain because of playing Half-Life 2 a billion times, but also you hear them so much in like random Gary's mod servers. They use the dialogue in as well.
As someone who's not played
got hit in
Half-Life
the
2,
gut.
I know a lot of them, not all of them, but like a lot of them from Gary's mod.
Just juggling some Chinese food here, the classic. So yeah, I sat down and played the entirety of Half-Life 2 in VR, and yeah, the number one thing it made me think was, man, this is cool, but man, does it make me wish there was a new VR headset coming out. I'm just don't want to play on my VR until a new one, because I'm waiting, because the Meta Connect is soon. Quest 3 is my current front runner, and hopefully Valve comes out with something to try and upstage them, and then
because I don't know if, I think I've talked about this like in a video, maybe on the podcast, but it's just like, my thing is like the next big release that's like affordable I will probably get, especially if it's from Valve.
Oh, I don't like controlling the airboat in Half-Life 2 always fucking sucks. Or the Jeep. I don't know if you know this, but in Half-Life 2, the Jeep and the airboat, they're not controlled by mouse control. They're not controlled by WSD. They're controlled by mouse control. There's no free look, so you like use the mouse to drive, and it's awkward. And then trying to do that with the Vive 1 trackpads, I wanted to destroy something. I'm like, if I had it, like literally, I looked up on the Steam Community Hub like discussions to be like, oh, is anyone else trying to play this with an OG Vive? And the devs were like, literally like, yeah, we developed this to run on multiple VR systems, but it's like, if you're playing on the OG Vive, you objectively have the worst experience possible. And it's like, as someone who played through this on the Vive, I can attest to that. It feels awful. About that beer I owe you. It's Barney Calhoun from Black Mesa.
Barney, what? Not that guy.
From Blue Shift, the Gearbox game.
Yep.
Wait, was it Blue Shift or was it Operation Adrian Shepard one? Blue Shift. Is that the one they did? Yeah, they did Blue Shift, and then who did? This is just a random opposing force.
Oh, okay.
I think they may have done both.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't have much
Randy.
knowledge of Half-Life 2, so...
Gearbox. Anyway,
Half-Life 1, sorry.
I'm going off on a random flipping tangent. But I played this, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. So, I think I talked about this previously when I talked about playing Half-Life 1 VR, because there's a Half-Life 1 VR mod that adds like hand tracking, and it's in beta, and it's very much in beta, but immediately playing that, I was like, oh, these textures look awful when they're next to your face. And it's like, it's hard to explain to someone like how important having higher fidelity textures is when you're in VR and you're getting immersed, but also the screen is next to your face.
Yeah, you can't see it when you're translating it to pancake mode.
I've got some later footage here where I was pissing about a dog and I was like, I don't know if you noticed, Tony, but this game has workshop support, so you can download mods.
There's mods?
Yeah. So
this VR mod,
this Alex model here is actually the model from Half-Life Alex. These weapons are called June's weapon pack, and they're super high quality versions
really good,
of the original Half-Life 2 weapons. They look super sick in VR.
Like 8K or something. What's going on?
Yeah, they're in 16K times the detail.
Yeah.
But the
Top
workshop
Howard
mods
detail.
I downloaded, I can read them out now. Half-Life 2 4x AI texture upscale, Half-Life Alex
Oh, that's
fences, Half-Life Alex combine fences, Half-Life Alex bottles, tools, Half-Life Alex screens, combine
why
turret
the fences have
remade,
to be
chopper 4K VR, remastered airboat and buggy, and then the Half-Life 2 VR Junes weapon pack. What are you gonna say?
Why the fences have to be separate? Just like because they're like mesh, see-through objects, or
Just because somebody took the texture from Alex and ported it over.
no? I'm just surprised it's not in like the other pack, I suppose.
Well, because that replaces the AI upscaled one.
Right.
Because you
okay.
use
So
the-
it is okay. Right.
You're using the more advanced Half-Life Alex version that they've already
Right.
remade.
Okay.
Again, you know I said I was enjoying pissing about with physics stuff.
Yeah.
I love playing with dog, and playing with dog is
Uh-huh.
even more fun in VR. Shooting some rollies around, getting my boy to go and get them. These are roller mines in the game, so these normally when they're used by the combine, they'll like roll towards you and damage you and push you around. Man, I never thought I'd actually be playing catch with dog in like actual like hand track. It's like surreal for me, like as a kid
Yeah, how-
playing this.
How natural is this like capture in VR?
Very.
Like, is it just like
Yeah, very
okay,
natural.
no learning?
No.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's one thing about VR that's hard to describe to people. It's like the controls a lot of the time are just so intuitive. It's like, well, how do you know how to throw and catch something? It's like, how do you know how to throw and catch something in real life?
Yeah.
You just throw and
Yeah,
catch it.
it's the same knowledge. Yeah, that's cool. That's good. It's like I feel like I guess like I feel like on 2D the plane like it kind of looks like really awkward, but I guess you've got like full parallax to help you.
Yeah, that's immersive ladder climbing. There we go. Log
Oh, yeah.
in, dude.
That's
Log
great.
in. I'm genuinely a ladder enjoyer, like an immersive ladder
Yeah.
enjoyer where you actually climb the ladder. Based on me playing the Half-Life Alyx map, which is a recreation of the ladder scene from Metal Gear Solid Snake
Yeah.
Eater or whatever it is. You have to climb
this
a
what you're
ladder for
playing
like
now?
10 minutes.
Yeah. Why is
Um,
this ladder so long?
This is basically the combine. This is the Ravenholm section. So you're basically learning why you don't go to Ravenholm. You know, this Ravenholm place is pretty terrifying in VR.
I can imagine.
But also, physics object. This is whenever I play Ravenholm, I like to play a game where I'm going to play Ravenholm only with a gravity gun because it is a section that's completely designed where you can just pick up saw blades and shoot them. So if you look at this model here, that's the Half-Life Alyx head crab, which
Right.
is a much, a much more improved model in my opinion. I know some people were like, you're kind of changing the visual identity by switching to the Alyx models instead of using, more accurate to like Half-Life 2 or Gmod style, right?
But that is your. That's your
I like the
decision.
Alyx models. So.
Yeah, I like models as well.
There's some Alyx models where I'm like, I kind of prefer the Half-Life 2 stuff, but
Yeah.
I think on the whole,
I tend to find I pick and choose, and I slightly just I would be like. Well, I'm thinking of modding Skyrim. now,
How
like,
fun is it?
I like-
Okay,
I
so
like
one
these
of-
sections.
one of the most fun things in Ravenholm is to use the gravity gun to shoot physics objects at zombies. Turns out it's even more fun in VR because it's
Okay.
just super intuitive to pick stuff
But
up,
more
aim it,
scary.
and shoot it. Yep. Well, so in Ravenholm, there's this section where Father Grigori. There's this section where the fast zombies jump at you, and in Half-Life 2 VR, you physically reload every bullet. So there's a point where I'm like pushing all of the bullets into the shotgun, and these zombies are jumping. I'm dropping bullets, and I'm trying to pick them up and throw them into this gun while I'm like terrified while these zombies are running towards me. It's like in this section, you crouch underneath the zombie traps. Yeah, Ravenholm is such like a physics playground for Half-Life 2,
Yeah.
where it's like, here's a bunch of like traps and stuff you can set off to attack zombies with, and yeah, Ravenheim's a great section of Half-Life 2, and it's even greater in VR in my opinion. So yeah, pretty awesome.
It's too scary. Just play it mute.
Well, that's how I used to have to play it. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think I could. Yeah, it makes me want to play a horror game in VR, but again, I did not own a VR
I've
headset.
played horror
One
games in
day.
VR before. It's not that bad once you get used to it.
No, I feel like it'd be more immersive. Like I feel like those games designed like much better the more immersive you are into it.
Yeah, I mean, like the more you are immersed into something, the more it's going to
Yeah.
be intensive. Like horror gets
The more you
massively
can't-
enhanced.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people like,
And,
not a
like-
lot of people, but some people like can't deal with horror. Not because they're like they're literally not scared, because like they're so unimmersed. Like I feel like if you force the immersion, like you kind of have to be kind of scared. I guess you still know it's fake, but
Yeah, the problem is it's in the same way you can tell your brain that you're not physically moving, you can still get
Yep.
motion sick.
yeah.
So you got to think about that in terms of horror. Even if you physically know that that monster running at you is not going to be able to get up close and kill
Everything
you,
else is telling you.
your body
yeah.
is going, "Oh shit, we're in trouble. We have to go."
Yeah.
Um,
So
which is like
I'm really looking forward to play more VR horror.
yeah, I mean, there's tons of great stuff. Like I played Phasmophobia for the first time ever in VR, which was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
And I played stuff like Half-Life Alyx worked. Half-Life Alyx is terrifying in some parts, just in general, but like the workshop's full of horror stuff.
Oh my god. They can throw barrels.
Waltz of the Wizards again, terrifying being
Oh yeah.
accidentally.
I
Waltz of the
yeah,
Wizards
I still
secret
really
horror
wanna play
game.
that. Yeah.
What else have I played? I don't actually remember.
I
mean-
Resident Evil. You played Resident Evil VR?
No, I haven't played Resident Evil VR. There's tons of stuff I still need to play and want to play. I mean, I played The Walking Dead VR briefly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, so Half-Life 2, even better in VR.
Agree. Took me 12 hours to play my VR playthrough, and that's somebody who knows Half-Life 2 like the back of his hand.
Yeah, okay.
But is also playing on a compromised VR experience, I would say, playing on the OG Vive.
Surely, if you're modding VR into Half-Life 2, you would have played it at least once.
That's how I feel, but then, I don't know. Like, I was watching a streamer play No Man's Sky the other day, and they were playing it in VR for the first time.
Right.
And
okay.
sometimes I'm like, I've never played a game, and I'm like, maybe I should just play it in VR for the very first time. And I'm never sure if it's a good idea to start your experience in VR. I don't know
Yeah,
how
it's a
you
little bit
feel
different because
about-
like it's actually a part of the base game. It's not modded, but yeah.
Oh yeah, here's another VR thing. You
Sure.
can aim down sights in VR, something you
Yeah.
don't do in Half-Life 2
You-
ever. Here he
You're
goes, like,
actually
oh
manually-
shit, I ran out of bullets, but there's zombies still running towards me. I need to quickly switch one. Oh look, you like load the Magnum by dropping the bullets out and
Yeah.
putting new ones in.
It really is the small things that make VR.
Yeah.
There's also
Yeah,
then so many small things that make it hard.
I highly
to
recommend the Half-Life 2 VR mod, and if the Episode 1 and Episode 2 are anything like this, which I'm sure they are, I would highly recommend those as well. And I'm looking forward to trying those out once I get a new VR headset.
Yeah, with joysticks.
Move on to the next one. A Medieval VR. So I just played a Medieval, and then I heard a Medieval VR was going to come out. I was like, oh, this looks fucking awesome. Let's try this out.
I thought you were gorilla tagging there for a second.
Gorilla tagging, no.
You were like on the ground, it looked like.
No, I was trying to select stuff while smooth locomotioning. Smooth
Yeah.
locomotioning with Vive ones. Not the greatest experience, but, you know.
Is this only smooth locomotion in this game?
I think so, if I remember, but I could be wrong. I mean, I wouldn't. You couldn't. I don't think you could play a medieval with teleportation. It's just teleportation. You need a very slow-paced game to get it to work.
Well, you could cheese a lot of the stuff if you could teleport, right?
Yeah. Don't know. I think. I don't remember. Like, just immediately I grabbed the secret sword because I know where it is from playing the base game on the computer. Again, this is another game where I've played the base game not in VR, and then I'm playing the VR version. I wonder what people would think if they played a medieval VR before playing a medieval. This is the melee weapon.
How easy is it to explore in VR, I suppose, is the question.
Pretty easy. You can throw the axe in this game, which you cannot throw in the actual base game. It's the flat pancake game itself.
Pancake version, yeah.
Pancake version. There's tons of like bonus added interactable stuff. So you almost never use the axe usually in this game, but I'm constantly using it because it's so fun to just physically swing around an axe.
It's meant to be an FPS, right? It's meant to be a...
Yeah, it's a like Hexen heretic wizard shooter.
Yeah, it's
so for people who don't know about a medieval, you can watch our Tangerine on the base game if you want to know more about the specifics of the base game. It's really cool. Highly recommend it. I feel like getting out of water. I don't remember if it was easier in VR or not. I think it was probably...
It looked easier, but I don't know how it feel.
I think it was probably still a pain in the ass. I'm gonna assume. You like slice the air.
Well, the video we just saw, it looked like you just came out. So
no, I didn't touch the water there.
Well, yeah, after when you got the secret sword, was that in water?
Oh yeah. That was out of like a ramp. It was coming out of the shore rather than having to jump up onto a platform to get out.
Right.
But like there's cool stuff like the rocket launcher in this game is a staff that fires planets, and in the VR version you can, instead of just shooting the staff, you can actually individually pull the planets off and toss them with your other hand if you want to. There's tons of like little cool interactable stuff that is in there just because.
Yeah. That's like the level you want, the enthusiasm you want from development. That's so cool. I was gonna say, we didn't mention like the parrying from like the shockwaves. That's in the normal game, right? It just looks really satisfying in VR.
This gives you like a full Souls charge mode, where basically your weapons get enhanced effects. So I think for the blue gun you get like rapid fire. I think for the axe you sort of like spin it around in soul mode. When the there's like the BFG equivalent starts firing like black holes in like the Souls charge mode. It's really cool.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I've yet to play the because they've released two medieval stuff this year. They've released the VR version, and they've released the Black Labyrinth, the DLC for the base game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've yet to try that.
You said that
but
before. Yeah.
I don't know if they would ever plan on adding the DLC stuff to the VR version, but it would be nice to see down the line if they wanted to maybe think about adding it. I wonder what their plans are there. Again, this is a game designed for smooth locomotion, and I am struggling with 5.1s to...
Yeah.
See, here I am struggling to get out of the water in VR.
That might be worse, actually.
Yep.
Oof, okay, I think that's worse.
I think I played for like an hour or so. Like I played like a few levels on my current VR setup before I was like, oh, I feel kind of sick. I need to sit down.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so this game's really fun, but if you don't have strong VR legs or you don't have a good smooth locomotion setup, it might not be the game for you.
Right. It looks great, though.
Let's move on to the final one. I was alluding to this earlier. Again, I'm recording one eye because Early VR games, usually they were like,
Yeah.
oh, you wouldn't need to record a VR thing. We'll just display one of your eyes in VR, but not the other one. Put together.
Wrong resolution.
Well, usually they would display your left eye and your right eye, but they wouldn't tie them together for like a spectator mode, like you can in Half-Life Alyx, for example.
Right. Okay.
So this game actually, because I played Psychonauts last year, I believe it was, or no, it must have been this year, because I
I think
played.
it was this year.
I have to have played it this year because I played it on the Steam Deck, briefly.
Right. Yes,
Um,
you're right.
So I played Psychonauts earlier this year, absolutely loved it, and I wanted to play Psychonauts 2, but I didn't even know this game existed until a friend of mine actually gifted this game to me. He was like, I want you to play the VR game. And I was like, there's a VR version of Psychonauts?
Yeah,
But
that's news to me as well.
there's actually a VR game that ties together the story of Psychonauts 1 and Psychonauts 2. Because at the end of Psychonauts 1, you actually go on a mission with the Psychonauts, and this is the mission that you go on at the end of Psychonauts 1 in VR.
Ends before you do the mission in the first game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Mia. Hello, darling.
So, this game looks really cool and plays really cool. It's got like a good story, good puzzles and stuff like that, but it controls like a VR game that came out in like 2016 for a lot of time.
Yeah.
So there's no hand tracking, which immediately I was like, okay, you know. It feels so bad going. It's a seated experience. There's no room scale, and there's no hand tracking. And like seated experience, fine, whatever. Like I can play it. I expect you to die, but I expect you to die. Like it's probably the closest comparison because those are both spy games where it's essentially like a puzzle escape room. It's a sort of a very similar idea with this game. But with I Expect You to Die, there's hand tracking, and they have this system where you pull stuff towards you with like telekinesis. This game, you have telekinesis, but you're not controlling it with the controller. You're controlling it with your head. And I've always never been a big fan of head track stuff. I've always found it to be like kind of nauseating, like compared to hand track stuff.
Remember correctly from like a study I saw, I think that's true for a lot of people in VR. Is that hand stuff is just more, less sickening.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen this game, you know, with full hand tracking and walking around, but I mean, obviously it's designed more for like a seated thing. I get that. I completed the full game. It's really fun. It's super short. It's probably a couple of hours long. But you get all the powers from the base game. So at the moment, I'm a way that you basically travel around the seated views. You have the power to hop into people's minds like you can in Psychonauts. And this allows you to see stuff from a different perspective to complete these puzzles. Like at one point, you'll be like you'll be like a random character, and then the next you'll be like a rat inside a cage, and everything's like massive for you. And
that's cool.
Also, a lot of the characters in the game become brainwashed, and when you go into their minds, you get to see the world how they see it. And it's like, oh, so like the girl character, I can't remember what she's called. She's like Raz's girlfriend or whatever. Basically, she gets brainwashed, and she's like, oh, I've got all these toys around, and I'm going to clang them together and play with them. But in like your perspective, she's playing with a bunch of bombs that are about to go off, and everyone inside the submarine that's around her is like shaking, like, please don't blow this place up. That's kind of
the perspective changing shift. I like
the the main. You're here to rescue like a Psychonauts agent who is, I think her name's Lily. Lily's father, who's like one of the Psychonaut leaders that you need to go and rescue. And as you go to the Rhombus of Ruin, which is this giant telekinesis like hub underwater. There's like this giant. It's kind of like Shungite. And it sort of like blocks certain waves.
Okay.
But it's like it starts like messing with everyone's telekinetic powers, sort of thing. And
So it's
then
like, okay, so psychokinesis, kryptonite.
yeah, yeah, you get to use like clairvoyance. You get to use stuff like pyrokinesis. Like you can set stuff on fire. You can use like the Psy Blast, and it's really cool because in the Psychonauts game, it shoots out of your head because you're using your psychic powers from your mind to do it. But because you're in VR, it like physically comes out of your head as you move around, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess they would have to do that way if it's all head tracking based.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super cool. It goes on sale a lot, like very cheap. I think it's like a couple of quid. So it is
Oh,
definitely
really? Okay.
worth.
Well,
I was trying to unlock all the. Sorry.
How long is the experience then? If it's like
2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, I would say.
That's quite
Took me
short then,
2.3 hours to complete. I'm inside the squirrel right now.
So it's just a fun little experience.
I'm trying to give Coach Ollivander his toilet roll to see what happens.
Okay.
But I'm doing telekinesis here, Tony. But again, I'm controlling it with my head.
Right. So has to wear it in front of you, yeah.
Hey, Rasputin. I knew that suitcase was yours, Mia. But the good feelings belong to
So is it,
everyone.
can you not,
What are you gonna
so you
say?
can't raise that into the air?
That would feel
It's basically a point and click game in VR, I would say.
That's probably good, but yeah, that's a good move.
Thanks for the reinforcement.
Again,
Willie's always been better at
the
putting
controls
In
are
a
not
way,
great.
isn't that I Expect You to Die is kind of like that, but with like more added on to like make it like to ascend it past just a simple point and click.
I can't seem to. Something's wrong with my powers.
Well, we may be very far away from Truman, darling, so your connection might not be strong enough.
To start the game when you're trying to find Truman and you're connecting. Yeah, this is sort of like the game. You sort of jump around for people's mind to get different perspectives. Sometimes fish people, sometimes, you know, normal people, and you basically, it is essentially a point and click like puzzle game in VR. It's sort of similar to like I Expect You to Die, for example, where you're just trying to you push different buttons or use different powers in order to figure stuff out. They've completely like removed the platforming element of Psychonauts, which is understandable for like a VR game.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to change it up a little bit for VR.
I would say like it is genuinely a really fun experience. I wish it had like more advanced controls.
Yeah,
and ran a bit better on like more modern VR stuff, because apparently it only works on the Vive and the Quad or the Oculus.
Oh really? Okay.
It says on the store page. I think some people have been able to get it to run on the Index and stuff like that. Oh, here we go. This is like immediately. It's like James Bond. It's like I Expect You to Die's intro. You know, it is that like classic spy. You know, James Bond sort of intro sort of thing, which I absolutely adore. Like, I love like
it's pretty cool.
VR spy stuff, so awesome to see.
And you love playing as different versions of Xavier from the X-Men.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump into your mind. You see, the thing is, she's this woman. She says to me, "Get your bike off the grass. You can't cycle on the grass." And then immediately, all of her clothes fall off.
Yeah.
And she's scrambling to put her clothes back on. By that point, I've seen everything. I've seen everything.
Good lord.
Good lord.
What what a great clip.
Yeah, extras, Sir Patrick Stewart, if you don't know what I'm referencing. But yeah, look at this. It's great. It looks really, really... It's got that double fine polish to it. Everything is super good looking.
I said this before the video, before we started recording this. Like, I'm surprised how well this holds up. Like, scaling up from the resolution. Like, I always thought maybe the original Cycles would only work in like lower resolution, but no, it does actually hold up once you, clean it up and design it for high resolution.
If I can go to the school bus and show you what I was talking about before. Here's Mia, one of your teachers.
She's in some sort of trance.
And I think the thing here is that the puzzle here, for example, is you need to get to the guy with the cassette tape and play a certain song or something like that. Like that's a sort of puzzle. So from her perspective, she sees screaming kids that are about to get destroyed by a train.
Right.
Oh man.
So in order to break her from her trance, you need to
I try to get it started, but
help the children from her perspective.
Right.
battery's out of juice.
I found this puzzle annoying. It was like, I was clear that it was like, you need to
I never
get one of these eels into the hood at a certain timing in order to zap the juice, and I couldn't get it, and I was like, I think you need to zap them and then push the button down,
in seawater.
but I couldn't
Oh,
figure
it's
that
just
out for the
fading through at
longest
the
time.
moment.
Yeah, but generally the puzzles are pretty, I mean, I could do them, so they must not be too hard, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, super short and
if-
sweet. And if you're interested in the Psychonaut games or just a fun little VR puzzle game, I would recommend checking out Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin. It is genuinely very fun. So check that
And
one
you
out.
said it's important to bridge the gap for the story.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know if I don't know if you can. You could probably just ignore this and just
Yeah.
play Psychonauts 2 or whatever, but
It's
I think
if you
they
enjoy it,
tried
you'll
to
enjoy the
make a
story.
cohesive story between this
Yeah.
and from 1 to 2.
Yeah. It's a good idea. I like it.
Oh, we got one last thing, Tony, and it's one of my favorite
Okay.
VR games of all time, other than Half-Life Alex. It is Walkabout Mini Golf, but I wanted to just show you some footage of Upside Down Town, because it is
in
one of
VR.
the most
Ooh.
confusing, but like awesome looking like architectural things in VR.
I really like this map.
Like it has physics as well, where the ball actually, as soon as it goes through these portals,
changes.
adheres to different like gravities, and they've tied that into the map.
Yeah.
Well, I thought
Oh,
you
got
would
it.
really appreciate this,
In
the
VR, this
architecture
is
of this
crazy.
place.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's like MC Escher, but as a
MC
as
Escher
3D
painting as a golf
color
map.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is exactly what it is.
I really like MC Escher, but my biggest
Oh,
problem
by the
is
way,
that there's
it
not
feels
enough
so
colour.
weird to play golf on the like you play golf completely differently when you're playing golf on the ceiling. It is such like a hard thing to describe, hitting a golf ball above you.
No,
But it's something
I
you can
imagine that being
experience
difficult.
because of VR.
How you even hit? I don't know. I can't even visualize me hitting that. That's just like swinging above your head. For
whenever
golf,
I'm going
right?
back into VR, I'm going back into the DLC courses for Walkabout Mini Golf because they're always great.
Yep.
They're always like something interesting. Like there's the 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's
Yeah, I
like,
really want to see that one.
what did I play? Labyrinth DLC. I played that one. That was pretty. Like I've never seen the Labyrinth film.
I don't think I've ever seen the Labyrinth film either. Actually,
It was like a weird film from like the 80s with like David Bowie
yeah.
about a maze.
They got the maze from the Labyrinth.
They've
in
got
the
the Labyrinth
golf game.
from the Labyrinth.
right. Oh, that's
Yeah, big
huge.
time.
What the hell is going on here? Okay. No, yeah, this is really cool though. I feel like a bit crazy in VR. This sort of architecture, but yeah, this is really cool. I'm a big fan of the architecture.
This one's a timing one. You gotta hit it up so it goes up into
Oh.
the air, but then goes down again on the blue one to get into the hole.
So you have to, yeah.
See if I can. I'm flying around now. You can fly around to
Oh,
do
yeah.
fox hunts, which is like
You-
the collectible thing. But here's what the actual whole place
Are
looks
you-
like.
Are you flying like Superman to be able to fly around?
Yeah, you basically to fly in Walkabout Mini Golf, you just hold your golf club in there and you hold down a button and it's like Superman.
Right. Okay, that's cool.
I like how it has a crossword that you can actually do.
That's a
It's
real...
just randomly in the level.
Well, create a crossword
Look at this.
isn't
There's
that
like
difficult.
there's fully functioning streets. There's like
Yeah.
And the thing
Like
about
the
like
tram and or the
all the
metro.
Walkabout mini golf maps is there's no workshop or anything, but every single map made for this game is made inside VR, and they're all handcrafted for VR, which I think is like a really cool thing. Where it's like, it's one thing to
Got the correct
visualize
scale.
what your map's gonna look like once you get into VR,
Yeah.
but it's one thing to actually design it in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to.
Or
make
another
sure
thing,
it's, like,
another way
at
to
the right
describe
scale.
it is like Inception is very much like this.
Yeah. Twisting and like collapsing on itself. Yeah.
Yeah, but even if you're not a fan of golf or VR golf, just check out Walkabout Mini Golf. It's just an amazing VR game just to experience. Genuinely
Just walk
really
about.
fun.
Just forget the golf. Just walk
Just
about.
go walkabouts. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Tangerine on the VR games I've been playing recently. There'll be an updated one once I get my next VR headset, but I think until I update my VR, that's all I'm going to be playing because I want a new... my VR headset's
It's also
from 2016.
no longer summer.
Yeah. Although I have an AC, so
True.
it's not too bad. But yeah. Check out some of these games if you're interested in them. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.